everybody, and welcome to Pretty Little Liars, the after show here on the Stream.TV Fan Show Network. I'm your host, Sinead de Vries, and I'm joined by my pretty little talkers to talk about tonight's episode that we have a little bit of mixed emotions about, but don't worry, we'll get to it. Over here, I got Ashley Mova.
Love y'all.
Meghan Lamontagne.
Hey, guys.
And Stephanie
Hello.
Gray. All right, you guys, for real, if it wasn't for Sarah Harvey's little revelation at the end of the episode and the preview for next week's episode, I would honestly say that tonight's episode was kind of a bummer.
It was a failure.
Snorefest.
I think
it was
because last week it exceeded all of our expectations, that we were expecting it to almost like be above last week, and it was kind of flat a little bit. But I think that, you know, we see this pattern with PLL. It's like a big episode and then we have a connecting episode where they're like kind of milking all like little clues here and there, and then next week will be a boom, hopefully. So I think that's
I feel like tonight's episode, they really wanted to kind of ease back into these girls' lives and show us how much of a difficult time that they were having. I just feel like it's really hard to believe and really hard to sympathize with them when I felt like all of the relationships that they have been building up, and like we were so happy to see them reuniting with their love interest last week that I was almost expecting the same sort of thing from their families, and we just didn't get that.
So we were all talking about that. We were like, why is no one being sympathetic? They weren't really sympathetic until the end of the episode when we saw Mrs. Marin, you know, she got sympathetic, and
Mrs.
then Mrs. Hastings got sympathetic. But the entire episode they were like, suck it up. And I was like, you know, if that were my mommy.
And then we all started to talk about how our moms would handle this situation. And I think that my mom would definitely be on the same page with them. My mom would be like, Missy, suck it up. You can handle it. But sometimes you need the tough love to get you through things. I understand maybe a couple of days to like go cry in your bed about what happened to you, what A did to you.
A couple of days.
You gotta kind of, you know, get back into the swing of things.
They were kidnapped and tortured, and they deserve all the ice cream in the world.
Yeah, I think so too. I feel like it's not easy to believe. Like the fact that Spencer's mom is like, I don't want you to have a problem. Like, clearly your daughter has way bigger problems.
I understand where she's coming from, though. Her daughter's been to rehab. Like, you got to be careful with the
drug situation with Spencer.
And is that the word I'm using, like, looking for? Her daughter went to go steal drugs afterwards. Like, clearly the girl has a problem, a little bit of a problem. And then I kind of get both sides of it.
Wouldn't you have a problem, too, if you were in Rosewood?
Yeah,
I think we all would.
And I feel like my reaction would be super similar to Emily. She gets out and she's like, hey, I want to defend myself. I'm going to get some guns. I'm going to learn how to be in the army. And I'm there thinking like, go girl, that's a positive, healthy reaction. Meanwhile, her mom is like,
right?
Why are you taking guns out of the house? Are you kidding me? Why are you taking the guns out of the house? You were just taken by a torturer.
But I feel like Emily's mom, of all of the parents, was the most sympathetic and the most like loving, right? And was like, oh honey, blah, blah, blah. But hers was like the opposite, like the complete opposite, where I feel like there's no realistic support. Like it was either too harsh, or Emily's mom, who, I'm sorry, Mrs. Fields, Pamela, Pammy, she is the biggest pushover in the entire world. Like, I feel like she was terrified of her daughter in this episode, and I really appreciated her at the end of the episode telling Sarah that she could stay. Like, that was the most realistic, I think. And Spencer's mom being like, I'm gonna sit here and watch a movie with you until you fall asleep.
Although I do have to say, and I understand when you go through something that traumatic, you don't want to talk about it, but at this point, these girls have been through all this for so long, they need to talk about it, because maybe people aren't understanding the significance of what they really went through, because they never talk about it except to each other.
Right.
I'm talking about this like it's the real thing.
I thought that was interesting to see all their different reactions of how they're getting over the torture. And you know what seemed weird? It didn't seem characteristic to their characters they play. I think of Spencer as being the strong one.
You're right.
And she seemed to be resorting to drugs. I think of Emily sort of as being like not that tough, and she was the one who was like, let's get out a gun. Yeah. And then Aria was like a little, like, I'm gonna talk to the police and be like a little goody-goody two-shoes. And then Hanna, I thought, was the one who was kind of trying to, like, in denial, block everything out. And she was the strong one too. Remember, she was like sticking up against the police and being a badass, and she was like, I need to drown out my problems, I need a new bed.
I think the whole thing is that they just wanted us to see like how difficult it is for them. Like, we're supposed to see, like, clearly this has put them completely out of their comfort zone. They don't know how to handle this. They don't know what they're doing. They're in way over their heads. And it's just like too much. Like obviously it's too much for everyone to handle because even their love interest, even Ezra was really weird and awkward. Toby was really weird and awkward. Like I think that
Caleb.
we were supposed to.
Caleb was the best.
Caleb
was the perfect boyfriend. Guys out there watching,
yeah, that's
if
what you
anything
do.
ever happens to your girlfriends, you need
Get
to
them
act
a
away.
blow-up bed and snuggle with them.
In the scenario that a mystery person kidnaps your girlfriend, puts them in a dollhouse, and tortures them for a few days,
I also thought
that's
it was
how you
really
handle it.
super weird that Aria kind of mentioned to her mom, I want to talk to the police right off of the bat. And her mom was like, no, Aria, you can't talk to the police right now. Like, I think that the closer you are to the event that actually happened, you probably want to talk to the police as soon as you can so that you can get your story kind of as straight as you can
But don't
get
you
it.
think she was kind of saying that because now people are second guessing Andrew, and maybe she was like, listen,
Okay.
I don't know, but no, I see what you're saying,
Yeah.
but you know, she just was like, oh, like, it's Andrew. It's Andrew. I want this to be over. It's
Yeah.
Andrew. And
Well, obviously, we should be second guessing Andrew because at the end of this episode, Sarah Harvey drops the big bomb that's most obvious. Like, hello, we all knew this. Andrew was not Charles, you guys. Andrew was not Charles. Sarah Harvey said it. I was waiting for somebody to say it. I was really bummed. I honestly thought we were going to get to talk to Andrew this episode. I don't know why they didn't put that in because I feel like as a PLL nation, we should all know, like, obviously that's what we were all expecting, right? Like, let's talk to Andrew. What the hell is going on?
They'll do
Why is
it
he connected?
eventually.
Yeah.
I know, but
they
it was
know
just
we
really
want it.
frustrating. I wanted to talk to him. I wanted to hear what he had to say. But thank God Sarah Harvey ran away from home and came over to sit on Emily's
front
famous
porch.
fucking...
Oh, that's what.
That didn't just happen.
it's fine. We've all heard that word. Don't worry, girl. It just means that you have passion.
How passionate you
That's
are
how I
about
feel
it.
about Emily's front porch, you guys. I can't hide it anymore. This episode made me so angry, okay? I just feel like nothing happened in the last 2
But
seconds.
here's, okay.
I cannot.
Something that did happen in this episode that I was kind of...
It's a live show,
It's a
guys.
live
What do
show,
you
you know,
expect?
we're doing what we can do here.
This is
I'm sweating under my armpits. I cannot believe I just did that.
Ian Harding.
I'm sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry.
Coming into tonight, I kind of, the previous week, I didn't think that Andrew was involved in this, but then coming into tonight, before we saw the episode, I thought he was involved because someone had left a comment last week on our video saying, bless your heart, I can't remember what your name is, but I will figure it out. But he said, if you Shazam the song, which I did, I Shazam the song, and it is called, what? Why are you
Which one?
laughing?
Which song?
no, I love it.
The song.
The Apple song?
Yes, the Apple song. It is called Andrew's Sister. That
Whoa!
blew my mind. Oh no, it's by the band is called Andrew's Sister.
That is so
That
crazy.
was
Okay.
insane to me. So
Oh
that
my
made me think it was
God.
Andrew, and then I thought I saw him in the video behind the news reporter, and also him being there tonight. Like Toby caught him and wanted to beat him up. I'm like, no, give me 2 seconds with this guy.
So, I know.
Wait,
I know.
okay, going off of that then, if it's Andrew's sister, the thing I'm clinging to is that's a girl, and I
Right.
feel like in PLL, we all know, we're smarter than this now, that the number one thing they do is lead us to believe something and have it not be the case.
Of course.
So I
mean,
think they're leading us to believe that A is a guy,
Yeah.
and then it's really gonna be a girl.
But haven't we
AKA
always kind of thought in the
Andrew's
back of our
sister.
heads that A was a girl? Like,
No, I've always thought A was a
He's
guy.
a boy, girl.
I from the beginning of PLL, like from the start of it all, I always kind of just pictured A to be a girl.
Well, yeah.
And then I just realized, the preview has Jason who says something along the lines of like, oh, Charlie. Like it rings a bell,
Yeah.
which can be a girl name.
It could be a girl, yeah.
Guys, I think this is like for real.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with you, Stephanie.
Okay.
And like this whole thing, like thank God Sarah came and said that because like first we have Aria lying to the police, right? And we kind of talked about this a little bit backstage, but like we all think that the reason why she lied was because she just wants it to be done. She wants it to be over. She doesn't want the girls to go through this anymore. And like Spencer, on the other hand, is like, I don't know, like she seemed to be pushing Allie to go talk to her dad, and she's like, I don't know how to put this, but like your dad's a liar.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that was a great part.
She for sure still thinks that it's Charlie and also not
Right.
Andrew.
I honestly love that part really quick because it was the first time I felt like the girls were above Allie because
Yeah.
Allie was always the one like pushing that. And
dictating.
Spencer was like dictating
Yeah.
Allie.
I mean,
And
you're so
I
right
like
though,
that.
because
Yeah.
Allie 100% has completely stepped down from the queen bee role right now, and she seems just like a lost little puppy girl.
Going to church, trying
Going
to
to
like find her
church,
soul.
because she has a lot of sins to ask forgiveness for.
Yeah, let's be real. She does. 100%. 100%.
I want to say something, but I know
wait, hold on. Before I know exactly what you're going to say, but before we get to Alison's, we really have to talk really quickly about the reason why Spencer was so adamant about it not being Andrew, and I feel like she knew from the beginning of this episode. You could tell she wasn't convinced,
right?
And that's because in the dollhouse last episode in the premiere, she said, you know, I feel like I knew him, kind of like when you meet a pen pal or someone that you knew when you were younger. We are not going to be surprised by who this person is, because she said she felt it, she felt the vibe, she felt the connection. I swear to God, you guys, like, we don't know who Charles is, but we know who is in that dollhouse. Like, we have to know, and it's clearly somebody that's related to Spencer or like something, and Jason knows them too. We know that Jason and Spencer are connected through like relatives and stuff like that. So I just
Hastings
think it's
and
really
DiLaurentis
interesting.
are for sure connected.
Of course.
And Charles or Charlie, whoever, is definitely some kind of combination. I think you're right.
Yeah, I just think it's really, really interesting how Spencer has been the one to not let up. You can always tell that from the beginning of the Dollhouse saga, you could tell that Spencer had a different connection to Charles than the rest of the girls did. And I just think that we all have to keep thinking about that. Anyways, Allie Sins, go ahead.
I'm loving it. I was say Allie Sins, and then the fact I was going to mention Lorenzo.
Yeah, that's what we were getting at.
Just checking to make sure we're all on the same page.
Right, like
last time.
We're all on the same page here.
We don't need to recreate that.
Oh, shit.
But yes, Lorenzo, their weird secret connection where he's like, I just know that you don't want anyone to know that you're at church. I'm like, she wants everyone to know she's at church. She wants everyone to think she's good, and I don't know. I thought that was corny.
I think the reason why, though, that was such a significant, like, line, I think she likes him because no one could ever figure Allie out, because she's always playing games.
Yeah.
But here this guy comes in, and he's like...
He's not that fazed by her.
Right. He's like, oh, okay. And you know, I like him. I think he's cute. I think
you want one of these hamburgers? Like, after she spills her heart and guts out? He's like, you want one of these hamburgers?
Win my heart over. A guy giving me, I'd be like,
I mean, if he showed up with a plate of donuts, I'd be like, I'm game, of course.
But there doesn't seem like to be that much of a connection there. If there wasn't so much talk online about how she's going to have this new love interest, I didn't really see, like, you know, sparks in the air and like
they tried to make it though. They did the zoom in on the handshake. Like, that's the connection.
They tried.
I also am not a fan of Lorenzo, period. I feel like he looks like he could be her dad.
Yeah, he's a little bit too old.
What are you guys talking about?
I think he's a little bit too old.
I think that was my first reaction in years too.
I think he's really good looking.
I think he's first of all, he's super hot.
But he seems too old, I think.
He's super, super hot. And second of all, he does not look that old.
For some reason, I thought he looked older than like the rest of the Rosewood crew. Like they're looked out of proportion.
I see.
I mean, maybe it's in his uniform, but I love a man in uniform, so I'm not going to hate on it. I'm not going to hate on it. Really quick before we switch to fan questions, and I mean, really quickly, Toby does look a lot older in his police uniform as well, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And his hair was on point.
Yeah.
His hair was on
fleek.
Yes. Really quickly before I switch to fan questions, though, like you mentioned something. Jason says Charlie. You know, so obviously Jason knows who Charles is, and then Spencer runs in, and I have a feeling, you guys, it's going to be right at the end of the episode, and they're not going to tell us next episode. We're going to have to wait 2 weeks to find out. But Spencer's like, Jason just told me who Charles DiLaurentis is, and all those pictures missing in the photo book.
Yeah,
Like, obviously, Spencer's right. Alison's dad is lying, or clearly something happened to Charles. They're covering something up. But like, let's be real. How cheesy and how cornball is it that they didn't do a better job covering up like the tape marks in the photo book? Right?
Come on.
Like, I'm just gonna rip these out. No one will ever know that.
Like, no one's ever gonna question this. That there's like clearly pictures missing. It's ridiculous. Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
But I'm really happy because at least this means that hopefully somebody in Rosewood knows who Charles is.
Oh, for sure.
For real.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Well, you guys have a lot of questions, and we still have tons to talk about for tonight's episode. Your questions tonight are amazing. Just as a reminder, you can hop online on Twitter using the hashtag PLLAS. That's where we grab all of our fan questions. If you're watching live on YouTube, make sure to drop your comments in there, any theories that you have, and we'll make sure to pull some of that at the end of the show as well. But for now, we will be right back.
in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live.
Just in case you missed it live.
Oh, just in case you missed it live.
In case you missed it live, I'm doing something right now.
So we're all super excited.
So this is dancing.
So what would that be, like a 7?
I cannot. I literally cannot. You guys have got to get it together.
Don't hate the player, don't hate the game. Hate the contract you didn't get.
He's a coward. He's a giant chicken shit.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, it's gonna be like hurricane.
Whoa. Watch out for those girls. They are gagging them.
Hold the phone.
Hold on.
Bro.
That the more brutal you are, the more power you have.
Right.
That was sexy, it was hot, it was heated, I was into it.
You are gonna be the most high-paid hooker in the world.
Go ahead and invite your friends and everybody. Tell your mama, tell them don't ahead, turn the stove off and get up on the computer so we can get on the stream.tv.
Thank you again for joining us, and until next week, bye-bye.
All right, we're back.
Right.
Stephanie's having some technical difficulties with the
Pause
iPad.
it. You just pause. There you go.
It won't
Okay.
pause. Wait.
We're just having
Hit
a
the
little
pause
bit
button.
of a.
I did.
What?
We are
is going
live,
on?
ladies and gentlemen.
Hi guys.
You guys, it's an iPad. Let's be real.
Sinead, read the first question and
Oh my God, I can't believe
All right, you guys must be commenting so much or something, and that's why we can't get it to work. But coming straight off of Twitter at BabyJ833 says, so now Charlie is A? Yeah, I guess that's what we're led to believe, that Charlie is A, because we were led to believe that Charles DiLaurentis is A, right? Marlene King said it. Hashtag Charles is A. I mean, we all saw it. I still kind of believe that Charles is dead and that the person in the dollhouse is somebody that we know, or if it is Charles, they don't go by that name anymore. I just don't think it's going to be a new person. I don't think it's a new Charles. Like, I don't think we're going to get introduced to Charles. Right. I think we're going to be like, oh my God, it's so-and-so.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. I don't want it to be a new person. I'd be mad.
It won't be a new person. It's definitely, Marlene has said time and time again, it's going to be someone that we are very familiar with.
Did she say that though? I read her tweet about that, and someone had tweeted her saying something along the lines of, how can it be so-and-so if Charlie is someone that we don't know? And she's like, are you sure it's someone we don't know?
Right.
Like, she asked like a question back. I don't think she's ever officially
No, it's someone that we
said.
know. It's been said by many of the cast. And I think I always thought it was going to be someone younger, like someone, Allie and the girls' age.
Okay.
But I have a new suspect. I think that Byron has something to do with it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Unless he works for OnStar,
I
that
thought
was
you were
freaking
saying
his
is A.
voice in the.
You think so? Because I thought it kind of sounded like
Someone
Mr.
said
DiLaurentis, honestly.
Did you?
I honestly kind of thought it sounded like Mr.
And another
DiLaurentis.
thing, where was he tonight? Like, we saw basically all the parents. I guess we didn't see Mr. Hastings either. But I just feel like, they made a comment like, oh, your father's talking to the police. Like, how do we know that maybe he's not in the hospital or he's not in prison?
There's clearly still so much we don't know about Rosewood, and there's clearly like all these connections that we haven't even seen yet, right? We know that there are secrets in all of these families. The Hastings secrets are not all out, let's be real. And like, we still have Melissa and Ren over in London or wherever the hell they are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much. Hopefully soon we'll get to the bottom of it, but for now, who's to know?
I think Ren is definitely a prime suspect for a lot of people. He's not my pick, but I think a lot of people think that Ren and
there was a really good
Melissa
theory.
are kind of up to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, at Martha1996_ tweets, oh my God, wait, did A make the liars choose who they had to shock? So
That's so
That's
sad.
what they were doing.
So
Making sad. I would never be. I would just rotate because I'd feel too bad. I'd be like, all right, well, I guess it's your turn, your turn, your turn.
Was that? I thought it was like they either get to choose that they get shocked themselves again or someone else, right? It's not just that they're shocking their friends.
Well, at one point in Emily's flashback, A said, choose one or they all suffer. And I think that
was too.
Or like Hanna said, you choose who got water today, yourself or one of your friends. And it's just like, I cannot even imagine being in that situation, having to choose between your three best friends or your own health.
And I think that's why Hanna is dealing with it a little bit differently than the other girls, because not only is she trying to recover from what they went through in the dollhouse, but clearly she's like pissed. She's mad at them because even her mom said, "Don't you want to see your friends?" She's like, "I don't have to see them like all the time, like every day."
Yeah.
And that's because she's like, you know, I don't know.
But
maybe she got was last to be picked in gym class, like that kind of thing.
I think so. She probably got tortured the most.
But then she gets time with Hey Liv, and then did anyone notice Ashley Marin's mom? Or I'm sorry, Ashley Marin like sneaking in on that cuddle session. She's like, I'm just gonna sit here, and she's like one step away from being like, can I get in the bed, guys?
Caleb's like, do you want to sit? I mean, do you want to sit?
Do you want to join us?
We know that you have a thing for younger guys.
I can't.
All right. At Cami Loves You 1 tweets, I don't know if they should trust Sara because she could be working for Charles.
Totally.
Okay, so in a weird twist of events, Sara perhaps could be covering up for Andrew, right? By saying, are we sure it's Andrew? In a weird, bizarre event. I don't believe that's true. I don't believe Sara is working for Charles. I believe she was in the wrong place at the wrong time. She got hit over the head by in a parking lot in Rosewood, and she's been in the dollhouse for 2 years. Clearly, she's a little mental. I mean, you would be if you were her.
There's definitely something off about her, though.
I mean,
it might have to do with her family. She talked about her mom a little bit, about how I did something to make my... That was so sad. She finally did something to make my mom happy.
By disappearing. That's what she said.
Sad. My mom was happier with me being kidnapped and possibly murdered than like being at home and being her daughter.
So, and I thought it was weird even before she even mentioned that, where she said to Emily, "Yeah, I talked to my mom on the phone." I'd be like, "Why isn't your mom at the hospital?"
Yeah. She's like, "I ran away again."
But
Speaking
I think
of the hospital.
No, you go ahead, and then I'll say.
She said, who was it? Pam said, "I saw Sarah Harvey leave with who I thought was her mom." Do you guys think that was her mom?
No, I don't, because
right. That's what I was going to say.
I think it's really interesting that she said she spoke to her mom on the phone, and then she shows up at Emily's house later that night saying she ran away. And then I also feel
time.
Didn't you learn your lesson,
ran away again.
Well, clearly,
she has a problem with running away. Girlfriend needs to just stay put.
Well, clearly that's what we're supposed to realize, that right? Like we talked about the possibility of Sara being adopted or being like in a foster home, or like clearly she doesn't have a good.
And you know who else has a problem with running away? Allie. So that's a really weird connection, I must say.
And with the yellow shirts, it's just too much.
But can I say that I would love, I mean, I know some of you guys were speculating about this. I would love if Sara and Emily became a thing.
I don't see that at all.
Sarah and Emily.
No,
oh, yeah, I would love that.
In the picture, clearly, she said that she talked to Paige on the phone.
Okay, I'm not saying that she
come back,
but she did, and I'm not saying Paige should come back. I'm just saying Sara needs to go like heal or something, or like I don't know.
Sarah's beyond healing.
Maybe
Sarah
Emily
has deeper issues than that.
Maybe
she's not emotionally ready for a relationship. Bitch just learned how to talk again.
Sarah Harvey.
Also, why was she British?
Yeah, does she have an accent in real life? I wonder in real life.
She went back to her most like primitive form because she forgot how to talk. So she's like, I think they talk like this. Anyways, she's weird. I feel bad for her. She was locked up for 2 years. I really hope that she has some more answers. But for now, all we know is her mom hates her and she runs away a lot. Okay. At Susan Falls 1864 says Sparia is a great pair. Oh wait, Spence sees pills. Hello. Spencer stealing pills from Aria. Do you guys think this is the beginning of Adderall Take 2 or what?
I think that no. I think if they were going to go there, she would have taken the pill before she put it in the drawer, and Mrs. Hastings came in. I don't think
they already did that storyline. No one wants to see her do the exact same thing all over again.
I also got nervous when Mrs. Hastings went in there. She kind of like when she reached to grab for the pillow, I thought that she was going to go reach for the drawer and open it. I was like, oh my gosh, she's going to find the pill.
And she's gonna be like.
She's like, what
the hell is this? This little tiny pill. Who knows? I don't think Spencer's gonna get back on that weird drug habit again. I just think that again was supposed to show us like how much they're having a hard time and like fighting with who they really are and all this stuff. I had to pick this one because I think it's so fitting. At CC_Lou says, I for sure thought that Paige was going to show up on the porch when Em was outside. Nope,
sadly
just Sara.
not. Sadly
no, but it was
not.
so funny, guys. When we were watching and they, Mrs. Fields and Emily were having that interaction, she's like, have you talked to Paige? And like, I watched Mova the whole time while we were watching. Mova was like, and she's like, yeah, I talked to Paige, but then I told her not to come back. And you immediately were like,
I know, because this was so weird, guys, that Paige just pieced out and like literally was like, I'm going to California, I think. And we have not heard from the girl. I just think that maybe like she had some other show to do and the writers kind of just had to like write her out for a full episode.
That had to have happened. I mean, like, look what happened with Mike, right? He went to Teen Wolf and like
seriously.
Right, that's what happened. He went to Teen Wolf and we never heard from him again.
There needs to be a better explanation about that though, because everyone on Twitter is like, where is Mike? And they still haven't clarified anything.
Well, that's what they do, you guys. I feel like it's just it's gotten to be like the point where there's so many characters on this show. That's why I start believing that if they haven't been around for a lot, they're not that important.
That's what I mean, and that's why I don't think that Charles is Ren, or I really honestly don't think that Ren is involved, because if you think about it, he would have had to be contracted, and as an actress in Hollywood, there's no way you're gonna sign a contract and not be on a show for that long.
Yeah.
Like, it honestly, like, I know living out here, like, you see that other side to the industry, and like, you know that if they're not on the show, they're most likely not.
And he's fine. I like saw him at church not too long ago. Like, he's all right.
And he's so hot.
He's here. He's in LA.
You know what I'm looking forward to? Another MIA character is Mona. They never really
I know.
explain.
Oh my
God.
God.
She's in the hospital somewhere dying.
And you think that
didn't
Mike would have
explain
come
it.
to visit her, which is
Hello,
kind
you
of a
think
little bit
Melissa,
weird.
Ren, Mike, Byron, Mr. Hastings, like, there are so many people that you think would be there that are not. Paige, like, what the hell? Your girlfriend was kidnapped, you left, like, yeah, sure, you're not dating anymore, but you hop on a plane, you come back, like, that's why I start.
What, 16? How's she gonna afford that?
I know, but all I'm
Dad,
saying,
my girlfriend got kidnapped. I need to go visit her.
all I'm saying is I think that if they're not in the show, at least popping up occasionally, they're not that important, you guys. Like, that's what we have to believe, right?
Guys, watch Charles be someone that like hasn't appeared. Like,
watch it be a completely new character, and it's a whole new storyline, and we have to like literally just be introduced to somebody. Anyways, clearly a lot to talk about on tonight's episode. Way more than I actually thought.
Streamy.
I literally just whispered like they couldn't hear me, like I didn't have a microphone.
I know, like we're not on.
Thank you so much for watching PLLAS tonight, you guys, and we also want to say a huge thank you. What is happening? I feel like we're cursed tonight, you guys, seriously. I want to say a huge thank you, we all do, for everyone who has gone online and nominated the Pretty Little Liars after show hosts and our show for a Streamy Award. I think we've all posted about it, but you guys can check out the details on all of our Twitter accounts and at the Stream.TV or at the Stream TV on Twitter as well. There is an award show coming up, and it's for the Best of Web, so hop online, you guys. They're accepting fan nominations right now for shows of all kinds. They have so many categories.
I think would we be in nonfiction? I was trying to figure that out, actually.
Right, yeah.
So
So
when you vote, do nonfiction.
Yes. We are not scripted. Believe it or not, we don't make this up. But for
That's
real,
why we drop F-bombs.
Yeah. That's how you know we're not scripted. But no, for real, thank you so much to everyone who has already nominated us, and hopefully we can get a nomination. That would be great. But if not, like, just the fact that you guys are online nominating us is amazing, and we love you so much for it. So please do that for us. That would be great. And then let us know that you've done it so we can give you guys a couple shout outs next week. For now, hop online using the hashtag PLLAS. Let us know your questions, comments, theories about tonight's episode, anything we talked about, anything we missed, because obviously we can't get to everything. And then if you're watching on YouTube as well, make sure you subscribe to the Stream.TV so you can watch us every week after PLL. Before we go, Stephanie, you want to shout out a couple people?
Nice. Okay, Declan Fitzpatrick, Mr. Singer Dude, Valerie Gonzalez, Ruthie Rodriguez, Emily Troyes, Zara S.
Is that Declan or Declan?
Declan.
I thought it was gonna be Dylan. I thought it was Dylan. It was Declan.
What is wrong with you?
Sorry, actually, I was born in Scotland. That's kind of Irish.
God, you poor thing, Declan. Declan, I love you. I'm sorry,
guys. These names are too not cute.
He's like Declan.
Zeta S. Inia Blue. Inia with no D. That's Inia. I'm not crazy. Rashida Shack, Blake Dixon, and Naomi Barragan.
Those were some mouthfuls. Thank you.
Yeah, you did good. So good.
Look, if someone else wants to do the YouTube comments, be my guest.
We love you. We love you for it.
No, we love you for it, Stephanie. It was just the way you said it. And you said it in accent too. It was just so perfect. Anyways, I'm a hot mess tonight, you guys. I need to like go home and take a nap or something. Thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next week. You too, Declan. We will see you next week as well. All right, you guys ready?
Here we go. Yeah, we gotta get out of here.
Right.
3, 2, 1.
Hey, for more Pretty Little Liars, the after show, hit that button and subscribe to the Stream.tv.